Okie dokie. I wanted to make this quick, hopefully, we'll see how long it ends up being, video about solving a practice example, row reducing, just to go through it really slowly in case you kind of forget what you're doing or kind of don't know why we do anything or really what to do for row reduction, right? So I'm going to be looking at number 8 on the chapter whatever review, which is page 231, right? It gives us equations, but I don't care. I've already put it into a matrix. 2, 1, 3. There's my little equal sign. 0, -3, 3. All right. We beautifully already have this as a 1, our first leading 1, and now we need to get all of these to 0 so that when we start doing crap over here, these don't get messed up. First I need a 2, so I'm going to go -2, row 1, which will make this a -2, beautiful, plus row 2 into row 2. So I'm affecting this 2, and hopefully it'll be a 0 because it'll be its opposite, right? First, the rows that don't change, which will be row 1 and 3, 1, 5, 2, 0, 0, 2, 3, 3. And what we're up to over here is -2, 1, that's this number, R1, plus 2, that's this number right here, which equals 0. Beautiful, put it in right there. And then our next one is -2 right here, 5 from row 1. Oops, I wrote an R. It's all good. That's why we aren't using pen. 5 plus 7, that's from right here. That's our row 2, which equals -3. And then I need -2, 2 from over here. That's our row 1. That's where this comes from. Plus 1. That's our row 2, which also equals -3. Beautiful. And finally, whoa, this 0. So it's -2, 0 from row 1, plus -3 from our row 2, which equals -3 again. And now we have this lovely row completed. It's a column, apologies. This lovely column completed. So now we need to go down and 1 over to get our next leading 0. And to make that a leading 0, we are going to go -1/3, row 2 into row 2, because we want to manipulate just the second row to make this a 1, not a -1, just +1. So we're only affecting row 2 again, so we can fill in our unchanged rows 2 and 3. And it will be -1/3, 0. That's this 0 right here, which will of course be a 0. This is part of the reason why we'd start with this column, so that none of it has to change when we start getting crazy, which equals 0. And then we do -1/3, -3, which equals 1. And that's the same for all of these next 3 because these values are all the same. So I get 1, 1, 1. Beautiful. There we go. All right, our next step is to get these to 0 because the only numeric values, the only non-zero numbers we want are these 3 here and these over here, because this will tell us what our coefficients equal. So now I'm going to do -5, row 2, plus row 1 into row 1, because this will turn to a -5. A -5 plus 5 is 0, so I'm trying to get this to 0. I usually go top down because that's just easiest for me to keep it organized. And we are affecting row 1, so I'm going to write my row 2 and 3 in right now because they won't change. Draw my little equal sign. I call it an equal sign. I forget what he calls it. But it'll be -5, 0, that's the 0 of -2, plus 5 from the -1. I'm writing this 1 in because I know it will not change. Which equals 1. Look, see? Didn't change. Frequently I write this one first, even if I know my row 1 will be changing, because my 1 should never change. That's why it's leading. What do we have next? -5, 1, plus 5 equals 0. That's exactly what I was hoping for. -5 plus 5 is 0. And then -5, 1, plus 2 is -3. That 2 is coming from over here. That's row 1's 2. And then -5 times 1 again, so easy, plus 0 is -5. Where did I get lost? Here we go. There's my 3 from over here, and here's my -5. Next, I want to get rid of this 2, because I need to make it 0. And to do that, I'll go -2 row 2 plus row 3 into row 3. That 2's in row 3, that's where I'm trying to affect it. Which means I get to write in row 1 and row 2. -2, 0, plus 0 equals 0. See why we have to put these zeros in here first, because now none of these things get messed up when we start multiplying and adding things. And then -2, 1, plus 2 is 0. That was my main goal of this step. Love that for us. -2, 1 again, plus 3 equals 1. And -2, 1, plus 3 equals 1. Great. And look, that got us our next, oh my goodness, my camera's so askew. It's got us our next leading 1, so we don't have to worry about it. That's what we did over here on accident. We were able to get this step and this step. So now all we need to worry about is getting this to 0 and getting this to 0. Like I said, I tend to go top down. But actually, just kidding. I'm going to see how easy this one is to turn into a 0. I just need to make this negative, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go negative row 3 plus row 2. I'm going to put it in row 2 because I'm trying to affect this variable. Oop, that's not a variable. This number in row 2, right? Dun 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 dun. So I know row 1 and row 3 aren't going to change, so I'll fill those in real quick. 1, 0, -3, -5, and 0, 0, 1, 1. And in row 2, we are going to want -0 plus 0 equals 0. Great, we hoped that one wouldn't change. That's the whole goal. -0 plus 1 equals 1. This one we also didn't want to change. That's why we move from left to right. -1 plus 1 is 0. And -1 plus 1 is 0. Oh, yes, look, we're almost done. Because our goal at the end, of course, is to have zeros everywhere, but in this diagonal. And we're only one step away. We get to move up here. All right. I'm going to rewrite my matrix so I don't get lost. All right, and now I just have to get rid of this negative 3 right here. So I'm going to multiply this one by 3 plus row 1. So this will become 3 plus negative 3, which should equal 0. And then I'm going to put it in row 1 because that's what I'm trying to change. So here we go. Fill in what we already have. Oh my goodness, Ollie. Quick kitty pause. Beautiful. And we're back. Affecting row 1, so I'm going to fill in row 2 and 3. And then this is going to be 3 times 0 plus 1 equals 1, just like it's supposed to. And 3 times 0 plus 0 equals 0. Good, just like it's supposed to. 3 times 1 plus negative 3 equals 0. That was the whole goal of today's step. Well, just this step. And finally, 3 times 1 plus negative 5 equals 2. Beautiful. Look at that completed matrix. Well, reduced matrix. There we go. But it's completed in the fact that we have nothing else to do except for write what our coefficients equal. So we had established that this column was our x's. So now we know that x equals, oh my goodness, I didn't make that negative. How ridiculous. This x equals negative 2. This column is x sub 2, which we know equals 0 because that's where our 1 is. And finally, this column right here is our x sub 3, which equals 1. Finished. You can also write this as parentheses. I don't know why you would. Negative 2, 0, 1. And there we go. One beautifully, slowly, row-reduced matrix.